Hey, I'm Sad Hawkins. Welcome to the CedTalks Podcast. My guest today is a musician, director, and producer. He's a follower of the Lord, and I see this guy doing big things in his future. I hope our conversation touches you all, and you keep in touch with his projects and what he's got going on. Right now, here is Danny the Giant, a.k.a. Daniel. Daniel, welcome to the show.
Hey, what's up, C? My bad, dude. I'm
You're good, bro. It's all
up, man?
good. Nothing much, man. Hey, how's life been treating you, man? I know we're still going through the pandemic and whatnot. You're still in high school, so how has life been treating you?
Hey, life actually been treating me good, I thanks to my mom and stuff like that, doing everything that she can, to keep me insane, and also by keeping me safe, And so sometimes I hate it, but I know that her intentions are good, but it just feels weird because it's like I'm in high school and that's like a year of my high school being taken out of just, being like, fun and stuff and just having fun. So, yeah, I've been trying to make the most out of it, though.
Yeah, mothers know best. Like, it's crazy. Like, sometimes my mom be saying stuff and it's like, man, I don't really feel like hearing it. And then it's like, she turns out right in the situation and it's like, that's why I should listen to her. It's crazy.
I know exactly. And then I always hate it whenever mothers are always right. Because I'm just like, man, okay, she was actually right. And then you kind of don't want to admit it, I just, yeah.
Right. I'm talking moms, grandmas, aunts, like all of them. It's like they have that wisdom and they know everything. And it's like you think you know everything until they prove you wrong in that situation.
Exactly. Yeah.
Yeah. When the pandemic first hit last year, you were still in the middle of school. So how did that affect you, knowing that you were going to be out of school for pretty much a long period of time?
Oh, it really did affect me like really bad because I was actually in basketball and I was in AAU and I was nominated for the All-Star game. I was rated in my state, and then they took me out and I couldn't play. But now I'm back at playing again, and I'm not as good as I was, but it really does take a toll. But like during this time, your creativity, can just go beyond ways because you have so much time to think. You know what I'm saying? So I guess it's helped me in a positive way and it's helped me in a bad way.
Yeah,
it helped me in a bad way, but it has affected me in a bad way too.
Yeah, I feel you. I think that's with everybody with the pandemic, especially with the people I've talked to on my podcast. They have some positive experiences and also some negative experiences when it came to the pandemic. I know with me, I was supposed to graduate and get my associates from community college. So once the pandemic hit, I was robbed of my coronation ceremony. So, yeah, it was tough. Yeah, but it's go ahead, man. Go ahead.
Yeah, but like honestly, this pandemic, has made it where that I've got closer to God, because before I wasn't really that focused on God, but then once the pandemic hit, it was like God really got my attention, So thanks to the pandemic, it has grew me spiritually speaking.
Yeah, I agree. Same thing with me. Like, I know with me, I wasn't really as active in church before the pandemic hit. I knew of God, but I really wasn't actively going to church and reading the word and scripture like I should have been. And then once the pandemic really hit and I had those moments when I was really overwhelmed, that's when I relied on my faith and God got me through some really tough situations. Oh,
yeah, of course. Yeah. Something I've realized is that, like, whenever you, my family, they're all Christians and stuff like that, and I guess I consider myself Christian because of that. But then after, I've actually tried to explore, like, God itself by me because I want to. And it's like, oh, wow, I didn't know that it was this way. Oh, wow. Like, and it's just like, you really fall in love with God because of that, because when you try to explore it because you want to and with your mind and, like, with your consciousness and stuff like that, that can become really helpful. And it's like, wow, and you come to a realization. So
yeah, I'm glad you're picking up on things at your age at 15, because when I was your age, things didn't really click to me as to why I was supposed to go to church and why I was supposed to do everything like that and keep God close and have that connection and relationship with him. I didn't really understand it until I was around 17, 18-ish. So that's still fairly young, and I'm glad that I have that knowledge even now as a 20-year-old, but still, just the fact that you're knowing it now, like, I think that's great.
Oh, yeah, but, like, being 15, it's super hard, it's like I still have my urges, and like that, because I'm human and stuff like that, but it's really hard to try to fight it, because at my age, I still want, I still want to be popular, you know, I want that acceptance from people. But honestly, it's just like, you know, I just be thinking like, you know, I got to do what I got to do, you know, for me and for God, you know. So I got it, but it's still really difficult, you know, and I make so much mistakes, you know, and it's like, because it's like the closer I get to God, it just tells me like I can't speak today. It just lets me know like the more that I need His mercy, because it's like, you know, because I'm not perfect, you know, and I never will be perfect, but I always, you know, try, you know what I'm saying?
Right, and we all aren't perfect too, and like that's the thing. Like even as a 20-year-old, with me knowing the Word and Scripture, I have urges myself, and I have things that I would love to do and be amongst the crowd and do what they're doing, because it seems like they're having all this fun. But I know the truth. I know what's in the Word, so I know that if I do those things, it's going to affect my conscience, and I'm going to feel bad about myself, because it's like even though God loves me, I still have the Holy Spirit within me, and the Spirit will convict me if I mess up.
Yeah, exactly, and you know, and things that I've had noticed is that if I do go against God's word, it's like it always seems like, you know, something happens because of that, like something negative happens because of it. I'm just like, oh, you know, if I didn't do this and if I listened to God, then I would have been here, and you know, and I would have been in a better position. But,
yeah, I believe that when we do slip up and mess up, I think that's part of our testimonies. At least something that I've learned when I've messed up.
Definitely.
Yeah, it's like when I mess up, I try to look at it as, okay, how can I use this experience to learn from it and then maybe help somebody else who may be going through the same thing. So I'm always trying to help other people out. So that gets me going.
And I believe that trying to help people is like the main thing that God wants us to do, because God is God is love. You know what I'm saying? God is a God of love, and you know that's what I try to base my life off of, because helping people is really healthy for you too.
Exactly. You know, shifting gears from that, we're definitely going to touch on religion later on, but in the middle of this pandemic that's been going on, what have been some of the hobbies that you've picked up on and that you've done in the last year or so?
Some hobbies, I would have to say, like, surprisingly, you know, trying to inform myself and, like, learn more. Like, I'm not talking about, like, school. I'm talking about, like, learning, like, business and stuff like that, and you know, just learning things that can take my creativity to another level, you know, and just help me in the future, you know what I'm saying?
Right, yeah, I feel you. Like, that's what's up. Like, now go ahead, I'm sorry.
Oh, no, I was like, yeah.
Yeah, it's like I've picked up a lot of hobbies in the last year or so. Obviously, the podcast, that's one thing, but I feel like I've had these skills deep down inside of me, and I didn't realize it, but God did, and other people in my family did, but it took a while for me to really experience that and learn more about myself, and I think having to isolate for a little bit and be on my own, I think that's what really helped me, in the end, just tap into what I was created to be.
Yeah, bro, and this is dope. You know, like this podcast that you guys is really good. You know, I was like, man, because I was listening to some of the podcasts, I was like, man, like this man's about to be like next Joe Rogan or something like that.
Oh no,
don't get hard on you.
Oh no. Hey, how did you find my podcast though? Because you don't live in the state of Maryland like I do.
Well, I remember that. You know, I was on Instagram because I made a new account, and then I, you know, was just trying to follow people, you know. And then I guess I followed you, and then that's whenever you saw one of my videos, and you was like, yo, man, you know, I want to invite you on my podcast. I was like, okay, cool, sounds cool. And then that's how I found your podcast. And then I looked into it, you know, and I got on Spotify. I was like, okay, wow, this is great.
Yeah.
So,
got you. Yeah, because you do have like good music, and especially for your age too, like you have a vision, and I think that's gonna take you places. Like I can see it, you know, as long as you stay consistent and stay the course, like you're gonna get there to where you want to go.
Appreciate it. Oh yeah, and so what are you majoring in? Because doing what like you're doing right now, you know, and then like this podcast, so I was like, yeah, there's not much people that do stuff like this, you know. So I was just wondering, like, what are you majoring in, or what are you in school for?
I'm in school for education, actually. And then this is like kind of my side thing, what I want to do on the side and make my money with, because I like teaching and working with kids. So I figured that I could translate that into my career. And then from there, just build my way up and work with administration or be a member of the school board or something, just to be able to help kids and make those decisions for them.
Yeah, that's dope. Because the education system is like, it's very important in this world, you know. I mean, like, me being in the education system, you know, and me just really not liking school in general, of course I'm gonna say, yeah, I don't like, it's meaningless. But honestly, it really does have a point, and it's really helpful. It helps us socially and mentally and also physically, So
yeah, I'd say enjoy your youth, enjoy being in high school, because once you get to college, the responsibilities just increase. And while it's great to have those responsibilities, it's like I would die to be a sophomore in high school again, or a junior or senior, and just have that freedom and just not really have to worry about a lot, just be a kid. And it's like I'm still a kid, but I still have things to think about in terms of my future, because time is moving so fast, especially with this pandemic. So, I mean, if that's my advice I'd give to you and any other high schoolers, is just that enjoy the process and stay young.
Yeah, appreciate it.
Yeah, man.
Yeah, that's what people say, and I noticed that, and I'm caught on, I mean, at the same time, I can't wait till I grow up. At the same time, I don't want to take the responsibilities, but I'm going to have to soon,
Yeah, exactly. Are you back in the schools now that, everything's opening up?
Yeah, I believe we've been back in school since August, but we started out 2 days, and then the second semester we went back 4 days, and next week we're actually going back to 5 days. So things is getting closer and closer to normal, I guess, quotation marks, normal.
Yeah. How do you feel about that? Did you like the online style more, or would you rather be in the classroom with your friends?
Honestly, I'd rather be in the classroom.
Right.
Because whenever we was doing 2 days, I was just getting really bored, and then we had e-learning for the other 2 days, and it was like really hard to motivate myself to be like, all right, I'm going to open up my computer and do this, because I was so distracted with everything, And also I was doing like things, like filming like a video or something like that, or making like a song, and just doing things like that. But at the same time, like, I feel good that it's going back to 5 days, because it's going to feel closer to normal. And I never realized, because of this pandemic, I never realized how good normal was, I guess, like doing like the same thing every single day, which kind of sounds sad, but that's just how I think.
Yeah, I feel you. Like, I couldn't imagine having to do school like at home in high school and not have my friends in the classroom. Because, I mean, that was like the best part of high school, just joking around with your friends and having a good time. And to have that taken away from you, and to just have everything on the computer and not have that interaction with people, it's just, I couldn't imagine it. But I'm glad that things are slowly improving. Like, I'm sure we have another wave coming soon, and it's like, it's hard to say if things are going to get better, but I'm just glad with this vaccine out, things are slowly just improving. I can't say getting back to normal, because I don't think we'll ever have that normal back again, but who knows?
Yeah. But hey, there's a saying called like the new normal or something like that. And so we're gonna have the new normal, I guess, soon.
Yeah, exactly. Yep. Talk to me about your childhood growing up. What was your childhood like as a kid?
Well, my childhood, I've always had family who loved me and stuff, which was always good. I never had a father, but I guess I'll talk about that later. But it was like, it was just good to know that I have family that loves me and stuff like that. Like I had uncles and granddads and my mom and my grandma and just aunts and uncles, and I already said uncles, but cousins and stuff like that. That's always great. But the boring part about it is that I was the only child. Being the only child is really boring. Lots of people say, "Oh man, you're lucky that you're the only child." I'm just like, nah, it's boring in my opinion. It's like, nah, it's boring because, it's always like you want that person that's around your age, or there's somebody else that you can talk to that like you're extremely close with, And I always wanted something like that. So, and I have friends and stuff, but like brother and sister, I had like blood. It's a whole lot different.
Yeah, I feel you. Like, me and my brother, we're 5 years apart, but my cousins, we were each born 1 year apart, and I'm the youngest of the bunch. So we always related to each other. We went to school together. When we got off the bus together, we would play outside after school. So it's like, while they aren't my blood brothers, like, I still consider them to be my brothers, and they're people that I look up to and that I can relate with certain situations. And if I need some support, like, I can have that. So even though me and my brother were kind of distant, and there are some things that, that he does that I may not relate with, it's like, it's cool that I have my cousins that I can rely on for that support.
Yeah, and that's always great to have, of course. I do have just one cousin, because I don't really live close to family because my family's so scattered. But I keep in touch with this one cousin I got, and he's like a brother to me, but he lives in Georgia, so I can't really see him that much. Like, I only see him like 3 times a year. But he's 19, and me and him are like super close, because he's been in high school, and the things that I'm doing right now, he's already did, So he's just like, telling me like, yo, bro, like just do this, this is what's up, blah, 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 just prepare yourself for this, and it's helpful, it's always good to have something like that.
Yeah, of course. So you said earlier that you don't have your father in your life. With that lack of a fatherly figure in your life, how has that really impacted you in your journey as you've grown up and developed?
Not having a father, I guess I can say that it made me stronger in a sense, to realize. I guess I'm gonna say that this has made me stronger. Not having a father has made me stronger to like just mentally, because I've had to do more things and stuff, and it has also helped me appreciate my mom a lot more, because my father has not been in my life since I was 2 years old. And, it's kind of tough sometimes, like sometimes I'll see somebody walking with their father and then I'll be like, oh man, like I wish I had something like that. But at the same time, it's like I have a mom that plays both roles and she's doing great at it, so I really look up to my mom in that aspect.
Yeah, I agree. And I had my dad for 20 years of my life, and he just passed away recently, so I can relate to that in a way now kind of looking at everything, because I can go through life and I could be on social media and see people post pictures of their dad, and it's like, oh, well, I don't have my dad anymore. I don't really get that luxury anymore. But it's like you said, like I have a mom who now plays both roles. I have my grandmothers, like my grandfathers and my uncles, like they were always father figures in my life. Now they are that father figure, that male role model that I looked up to. So it's like, even though I've lost my dad in a sense, I have him here spiritually, but I also have other people on earth that can sort of fill that role, because it's like, even though I look up to them as male role models, it's like at the end of the day, they aren't my father, but they're giving me that man, advice that can help me become a man and get to the level that they're at.
Yeah, of course. And I really, understand from where you're coming from, because there is one uncle I had. He passed in 2017 or 2018. I can't really remember because it feels like yesterday, but I'm just like thinking But I had this uncle. He was really, really, really inspiring to me. He has kind of inspired me to do all the things that I'm doing now, and he played like a really big role in my life. And he passed, and then I was just like, wow, like he's gone. And then sometimes I would love to talk to him about something, and I'm just like, dang, I can't do it, and it's just like, yeah.
Yeah, I feel you. Like I felt the same way with my dad also. Like he wasn't the most emotional person out there the way I am. So it's like there were some things that I felt like I couldn't talk to him about because I felt like, he couldn't relate to me, or maybe he didn't want to hear it. So I guess maybe that's one regret I've had in that aspect, because it was so sudden and I didn't really expect it to happen. But hey, I try not to make that mistake again, and I just try to, cherish the people that I have on earth now, because, life is short.
Oh, yeah. Of course, yeah, and like with you saying that, it reminds me, like, I remind myself to call my grandparents, while they're here, like call my aunts and uncles and stuff, because you got to appreciate people while they're here. You know what I'm saying? I don't want to lose somebody to like, dang, I wish I did this more or I did that more. So that's I do lots of that. Making phone calls and stuff to the people I love.
Right, absolutely. Shifting gears from that, I want to talk to you about your interest in the arts, because you have a YouTube channel, you make music, you do all of this interesting stuff. What gravitated you to want to take part in that?
Oh, well, my uncle, the one that passed, he actually did that before he passed, and he also had sickle cell, which was really like a pushback for him, because he was always really weak. He was always tired, but he always tried to do things. Like my uncle, he lived in California. He lived in Las Vegas, you know, because he wanted to explore and take his art to like another level. Because he made music, he made videos and stuff like that. He was really funny, and he also tried to make a movie, and I was in it. But you know, and it was a long time ago, whenever I was younger. But he was too tired, so he couldn't finish it. But him doing these things has really motivated me. Like, you know, I need to start doing more things. I need to start trying to, you know, do things that I want to do and that really inspire me, because that's what he did. Because if he wanted to do something, he'll do it. And plus he also has sickle cell, you know, which really showed me, like, you can do things if you want to, you know what I'm saying? So, because every single day, you know, my family would be like, college, which, you know, I might want to go to college, but, you know, I want to do things that I want to do at the moment because I'm a kid. You know, I can do things that I want right now, you know, without suffering any consequences or not much consequences, if you know what I mean.
Yeah, I know what you mean on that front. Since you're in school now still, do you see yourself performing in plays and stuff like that, like taking part in acting?
Oh, yeah. I'm actually really cool with my drama teacher because I showed her my YouTube channel, you know, and I told her and I told her about some of my goals and stuff like that, and she's like, yeah, well, like, you know, I would really like you to be in this play, blah 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 blah, and stuff like that, you know. So it's really cool. Like, I really can see myself doing a play, not this year because all the plays was virtual, so I was like, I don't really want to do that. I don't want to take public. It just didn't sound right, but. Yeah, of course, I plan to do plays. I have done plays in middle school. But, you know, that's it. And those went pretty well, too.
Yeah, I feel you. I probably told this podcast on the story, or told the story on the podcast. I don't remember, but I remember my uncle's, he was like, you know what, Ced? I see you taking part in plays in high school or middle school. I was like, no, like I'm not doing that, because there's this stigma with like people in the drama department and like the theater kids and stuff like that. And so I didn't want to be a part of that or associated with that. Yeah. So I tried playing it cool and all that. But now that I'm older, I kind of wish that I did do stuff like that more, because like, I don't know, like, producing stuff and being a part of stuff like that interests me, like playing a role and like giving your all to like that performance, like that stuff really interests me a lot. Like I love watching movies and studying like the art of the actors and their performance and just what they did to just produce that masterpiece that they did. So I don't know, maybe when I go back on campus I'll do like a play or something like that, because I see myself doing something like that.
Oh, yeah, of course. Well, I'm going to ask you this. Do you see yourself, like, being, like, a big movie or something like that? Like, if somebody said, hey, Hawkins, I want you to be in this movie with Leonardo DiCaprio, Will Smith.
Oh, no. Maybe, you know, I say maybe, you know, I'll take the money, but I don't want the fame portion of everything. You know what I mean?
Of course.
Maybe I'll do, like, 2 or 3 movies, and then it blows up, and I get the money, and I'm like, okay, I'm gonna take this $1 million. I'm gonna take all these millions. I'm gonna buy my mama a house. I'm gonna finish my college education and all this stuff, and I'll just ride off in the sunset.
Exactly, because you know, like money, you know, it's like, you know, oh, well, you can invest in something, you know, make more money or something like that, you know. But you said that you didn't like. You said that you didn't want like the fame, you know. Like, what do you mean by that? Like,
I mean, I mean the attention from people and stuff like that. Yeah. I can be a really private person. Like, I like to have my space and everything like that. Like, having this podcast is great and all that, but it hasn't blown up and gotten big yet, which that's the goal. You know, you want to make it big. You want your product to be known and whatnot. But I feel like if I ever was famous, like, I'd be one of those actors that lived off in the middle of nowhere with the big, you know, fence and not seen by people as much, just because I like my privacy. You know, I'll take the money, I'll save the money, but, you know, I don't want the attention. I don't want a bunch of paparazzi up in my house taking pictures of me and stuff. Yeah,
I feel the same exact way, because, like, I've noticed, like, it's just so annoying, you know, like, every single day I'll go on the news or something like that. Oh, this person 10 years ago said something homophobic, and it's just like people change, and people can change, you know. That's what people are like, and we've created this thing called cancel culture, and it's like, it's so dumb to me. It's like cancel culture, you know, like people are just trying to seem like that they're so perfect and they don't make no mistakes, and trying to ruin somebody's career or ruin somebody's life because they said something years ago. So,
I mean,
I don't know how to feel about that.
I studied their apology and how they apologize. Like if they truly apologize and they're just like, what I said, years ago, I was young and dumb. That's not who I am anymore. And I truly apologize. Like I accept that. Like I remember Brother Nature a few years ago. Like I think he said something racist or he did something stupid. And he was just like, I was a dumb 12, 15-year-old kid at the time. And so I apologize for my remarks. And, I accepted his apology. But if you apologize in the sense like, oh, yeah, I said this like 10 years ago. I'm sorry if you were offended by what I said. Like, that's not an apology. Like, you don't care about that.
Yeah, exactly. And then, like, but like, in my opinion, the main thing that shows is your actions now. Like, are you helping lots of people? Are you showing good character? Are you being a good inspiration? That's my type of mindset, on just seeing, like, people from the past. Is always like the present's the most important thing because that's the time that you're in.
Yeah, exactly. I'd say if I was a celebrity, going back to what you said about the fame thing, I'd be like Bruno Mars or a Ryan Gosling, and I forgot the other actor I'm thinking of, but like people who they make appearances and when they drop a movie, like they're like really big. J. Cole a few years ago, he dropped this album KOD, and like he came back on social media because he took a break from being on social media, and you didn't hear much of him. But when he dropped the album, like he was making all these appearances and stuff, and then he went back into hiding, and then like 2 to 3 years later, he came back. So it's like I would be that type of celebrity.
Yeah, and that's exactly how I want to be too. If I ever become famous, it's like, I don't want to be that. I don't want to be that person that shows like my business and stuff and be like, oh yeah, I'm dating this person, blah 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 and stuff like that. Like, no, that's none of y'all's business. Just like my art, I'll show y'all my art. That's it. I'm not gonna show y'all my life. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, exactly. I feel you. So shifting gears from that, how do you feel about schools having more arts programs? Do you think they should have more programs and encourage more people to take part in that? Because I feel like the arts is a very important thing for students to be a part of. Because like it's different from sports and everything like that, or your typical English and math class. Like I feel like people can learn a lot about the study of art and how everything is created. So do you think that's something more schools should promote?
Oh yeah, of course. In my opinion, I think creativity is one of like the best traits to have because lots of the things that we have was made off of creativity. Like this desk that I have my phone on, it was made by somebody that was creative enough to make it, And so creativity, because lots of like the curriculum is like you're either wrong or right, but really we should have this mindset saying, okay, I'm right because of this and you're also right because of that reason, instead of being like you're wrong and I'm right because this is the fact. No, it should be creativity, like I want to do it this way because this can help people that way. And then they can do it that way because it helps people this way. And it forms something beautiful, you know what I'm saying? Or helpful.
Yeah, I agree with you. Like, I feel like more schools should really advertise that fact that, the arts are important and we should be developing our own mind and developing what we want to do, because the narrative is always, college, like you need to get your education. But, school isn't for everybody and not everybody wants to take that route. Maybe somebody wants to just, work for the work union and just do that. Like there are other options for people to take now. So I think it's important that we form our own opinions on what we want to do versus listening to family and what they want for us.
Yeah, exactly. Oh, so like you said that you wanted to be in education. Like, what's some like goals that you want to be? Like, if you was at the top and you was like at the government school board or whatever they call it, where you make decisions, what do you think that you'll change?
I think definitely, the curriculum and just the way that, things are being taught to the kids and everything. Because there's just some stuff that is just absolutely confusing that, it's hard for them to understand and try to bring classes in that they need to take in order to be prepared for the real world and becoming an adult. Like, it's required of you to take financial literacy to learn about money, but you could take that class in the 9th grade and then you could forget everything that you've learned because you're taking these other classes. Like, what if that class was mandatory, all 4 years of high school, so that way you have that knowledge. Same with, cooking, you have to cook. Eventually you're going to have to cook once you get your own apartment. Like, that's something that people should learn. Same with, bills and stuff like that. Maybe a class on that, or, maybe you want to start a business and invest in stocks. Like, take that class or something like that. Like, I think classes that people can relate to as adults, I think that can help out, because I'm sure you've heard it too. Unless you're going to major in math or science, do you really need 4 years of math and science? Do you really need to learn about statistics and calculus all 4 years if you just want to do something different other than that? Like, I don't think that makes sense.
And, I'm not going to lie to you, and hopefully my teachers don't hear this, but, like, I've literally forgot everything from the past years, and I know like math, just regular math, like 2 + 2, or just multiplication and stuff like that. But like these difficult things, I pretty much kind of forgot it. So
yeah, like I'm trying to be an English teacher, and I have to take like 2 math classes just to get towards my degree and to pass the math portion of the teacher's exam. But I don't want to be a math teacher though. But I still have to go through it.
Yeah, and I think that is weird that colleges, they make you do all these other subjects, but really you're going to college just to do this one little thing this one big thing that you want to do, you know what I'm saying? But you have to take history, math, science, all that, because it's like a, what's the word?
General ed.
Just all around just good, I guess. I guess that's what they want.
Yeah, I'll say that now that I'm in my 3rd year of college, like I see why they do it, because a lot of kids, they go into college and they don't know what they want to major in. So they have them take these general ed and these basic courses just to see what piques their interest. Like I know when I started college, I wanted to do computer science, and then I changed my mind and said I was going to do communications. And then I changed my mind and said I was going to do psychology. And then I changed my mind and said I was going to do education. And now, like, I've stuck with it. And I didn't make that decision to do education until my 2nd year of college, when I took an education class that I didn't have to take it, but I needed some type of credit. And education fell in that category. And in my mind, I was thinking, I really don't know if I want to do education, but I like working with kids and I like mentoring them, so why don't I try it out? And so I tried it out and I loved it. And if college was just you pick your major and then that's it all 4 years, like I think it would be terrible, because now you just wasted all this money. But I took my time and I really thought about what I wanted to do. So once I did that EDU class my 2nd year, I was like, okay, this is the route I'm going to take. So
that's good. Yeah, that's good. I love to hear how, people taking different classes kind of affects them in a good way, and it helps them find what they really want to do. So I never realized that it helped people like that, because nobody told me, but that's good to know that it happened to you.
Yeah, exactly. And obviously I was young, so I didn't understand it, but it's like now I see why colleges, lay that out for everybody. It's like I was taking an art class and like I'm terrible at art and I'm terrible at painting. I'm sitting there thinking, why am I taking this class? Like I'm terrible at this, but the one thing I'm terrible at could be good for someone else, and that could be somebody's testimony and their blessing that introduces them their passion of art. So it's like I've learned since I've graduated that I always have to look at things from another perspective and not my own. So that's something I've learned.
Yeah, of course, and that's always great, just looking at things in a different perspective, because we live in a society where we look at things in one person's perspective, because this famous person thinks like, oh, it should be this way, so everybody else thinks that it's a trend to think like this, and then the minute somebody does think the other way, like the opposite way, then they get canceled or something like that. And I'm kind of talking about politics, which I'm not a political person. It's just kind of weird of how, people kind of get so mad if one person is this, and then there's like another person that's this. It's just like, we should all just love each other, because we're in such a time of hate because of opinions,
Right. Yeah. When you think about your YouTube channel and the stuff that you put out and you create, where does your creative inspiration come from for that?
Well, I actually watch lots of skits, okay, there's this one TV show that I watch. It's called Key and Peele. You ever watch Key and Peele?
Yeah, Key and Peele. That's my show.
Yeah, Key and Peele. Yeah, that's where I get lots of my inspiration from, because it's just so funny, And that's kind of something that I would love to do, is, doing skits like that, for a living, just doing something that I love for a living, and that's pretty much where I get my inspiration. And also I had like this notebook where I'll like write down anything. I'll write down anything I think of instantly. I'll be like, oh dang, that's a cool idea, and I'll write it down because I'll usually forget it like an hour later.
Yeah, I'm the same way. When it comes to me, like I have sticky notes and I have a notebook I carry around. Like I could be at work and people see me writing in my notebook and I'm just jotting down ideas of who I can bring on the show or what types of topics I can talk about. Just because like when you are a content creator, it can be difficult sometimes to have that creative inspiration because sometimes you run out of ideas and you don't know what to create next.
No, I know. And like, things like that is like you can't really force yourself to think about it. It just has to come naturally.
Right, exactly.
Well, that's for me, yeah.
Yeah, it does have to come natural. It has to be what you want, and then it's like at the same time, you should also pay attention to what the viewers want and what they want to listen to. Like with my podcast, people like listen to me doing my interviews versus me talking by myself. Like they'd rather hear other people's perspective, it seems like, just when I look at the algorithms and like the views and stuff. So it's like sometimes I got to pay attention to what they want, and if I don't really have a lot of creative ideas of who to bring on the show, like sometimes I'll go a week with like having no guest, but I want to put out the best content for people to listen to. So that's how I do things.
Also, and just like something I realized is just do stuff that you want to do, because numbers, they do help, I saw like a clip of this TED Talk. It was talking about how like whenever you care about numbers, it kind of lowers your creativity, because it's like you would love to talk about this, but then you're like, oh, nobody's gonna want to hear me talk about that. But if you want to talk about that, then like do it. Like there's a whole lot of people. Like, okay, I saw this Dave Chappelle special, and he's a comedian, but this was the first special during the pandemic, and so people came thinking that he was going to make everybody laugh and stuff like that. No, this dude just talked about George Floyd and stuff and how he was mad, and he made some pretty good points. I'm not going to talk about that, but like, he literally was just on funny the whole entire time, and he was just saying his opinion. But Dave Chappelle is also very popular for that, but people come for him to make them laugh, but he does what he wants to do.
Yeah, exactly.
So I think that's very important. If you want to be like an artist or like a content creator, do what you want to do.
Yeah. When it comes to you focusing on school, because you're still in school, and then you create those videos also, how do you find that balance of taking care of yourself also while prioritizing, what you want to create and also prioritizing what you need to do, which is your schoolwork?
Oh, well, I'm so inconsistent. Like, I mean, I get my schoolwork done and stuff like that, but you can go on my YouTube channel right now. I haven't posted in 2 months because, I've been doing school and stuff like that, and then I've been busy lately. And so it's very difficult doing that. It's just very difficult finding a balance. I wouldn't say that I have a balance, because I'm so inconsistent with, just everything with schoolwork and stuff. And I still get done. I make pretty good grades, I'm an honor roll student, but it's just, it can get hard, but at the same time, I just have to kind of deal with it and manage.
Yeah, no, I feel you 100%, especially with me being in school also, and like the guests who I want to have on, they're in school also, and they have jobs. So, we all have individual lives that are outside of this podcast. So, like I said earlier, like sometimes, our schedules don't align or meet up well, and I'll have weeks where, I don't have a guest, which is fine. That gives me time to focus on my schoolwork and then focus on the rest that I need to get. But it can be rough sometimes because you want to keep consistently putting that content out, putting out, what you want, and then it's like you can't get it at the same time. But I say that to say that I think God works in mysterious ways, and I think sometimes he makes those situations happen for a reason, and that reason could be that, maybe you need rest, maybe I need rest, or maybe we need to focus on what's important most, I don't know, but I just try to seek that voice and seek what he wants me to do.
Oh yeah. I completely understand, and I completely agree with you, because it's like, sometimes you just be like so wore out, and you just like, God, just like tell me what to do, please, like that's really what you want, and God will somehow, some way tell you, because he works in mysterious ways. But sometimes you just really need some guidance from him, so,
yeah,
what you need.
Mm-hmm. How do you feel that the Lord has blessed your life this past year in the middle of this pandemic? With everything that has happened, be it the good or the bad, how do you think He has matured you in a way?
I think He's matured me on how to treat people. My whole entire life, I've been thinking like revengeance was like the way to treat people. Like if somebody does you wrong, do them wrong right back. That was my mindset, and I think that He's helped me in lots of ways, because if somebody does you wrong, do them right with love, like in Ariana Grande song, "Kill Them with Kindness," and that's a pretty good song, because when you kill them with kindness, it's like wow, it's like it most. I'm not gonna say most of the times, like lots of times will bring the love out of them, and then maybe y'all can become friends and stuff like that, like again or be good. But that's something that God has really helped me with, was not having such a hateful heart, and also self-control. Self-control is such a important thing that we need as human beings, to have self-control.
Yeah, I feel you. Like, I definitely do believe I've gotten a lot of self-control and definitely, letting stuff go. Like, I work at a daycare with kids, and sometimes they be saying stuff to me, mouthing off to me. I be like, you know what? I could end this kid's whole life right now by just saying something reckless. And I gotta think about it. It's like, wait a minute, I'm the adult in this situation. Even though I'm 20 and I look at myself as a kid still, I'm the adult in this situation. So not only can I not say what I want to say to this kid right now, but I gotta think about what would Jesus do? As cliche as that sounds, like, would Jesus lay somebody out if someone disrespected Him? I think He would establish a boundary and walk away from it. So that's my thing.
Yeah, exactly. And like, dude, that man, he was tested every single day, and was prosecuted verbally, and reviled every single day, like all the time. But he kept his composure. I guess that's the right word to say. But then, they hated his love so much, like they wasn't so used to it and then they killed him. And that's, what happens, just like crazy. But I think love is what makes us human, and self-control. Self-control is something that plays a big role in our humanism, because animals, they got no remorse, like they'll kill anybody if they don't have their power. Like I saw this documentary with the zebra. He actually killed the baby zebra because it wasn't a part of his
pack.
Because that zebra was not his child, so he killed it because he wanted to be the strongest.
Mm-hmm.
That's no self-control at all, killing somebody's baby. But
yeah, I feel you. And I just remember, like, lions do the same thing also. Like, I think lions will kill cubs that aren't a part of their pack also, just to send a message or prove, like, who's the alpha of the pack. So it's like, it's crazy. But as humans, we have to have that self-control. It's like, we can't be reckless. It's like, that's not what God asks of us to do, especially as you get older. Because once you get older and you start acting reckless, like, you can get yourself in a whole world of trouble just for that. But, like I said, kudos to you for understanding that self-control and choosing to keep your composure in check and walk away, because not a lot of people can do that.
Of course, yeah.
Yeah. As the year goes on, you're still in high school. What are some of the things that you'd like to achieve before 2021 is over with?
Some things that I would love to achieve is telling more people about Christ, like having that, like, strength or motivation to be like, hey, like God loves you, because it's kind of hard, because we live in a society where that's very uncool, but, we shouldn't care about being cool if it's going against Christ, so it's like, well, I just trying to build my motivation to tell more people about Christ, and it's very easy to do it online for me, but like that's like being in public, and just seeing somebody that's probably like down or something like that, be like, hey, like Christ has done this for me, you know what I'm saying? And I've been getting better at it, but that's the goal that I want to achieve.
Yeah, I feel you. Like, I love spreading the gospel, spreading the word, and how God has transformed and changed my life. Obviously, I can't make an unbeliever believe, but I can just tell them my testimony and share what God has done for me. And it's like, just recently now, like, I've been opening myself up, and conversing with people my age about God who believe in what I believe, because in school, not a lot of people were believers, or they were believers, but they were like me and they didn't really express it as much, just because high school is a weird and crazy place. You know it because you're still in it, so you can definitely attest to it. But it's just like you want to be amongst the crowd and you want to do what other people are doing, and you don't want to face that ridicule and shame for anyone bashing your beliefs. But once you get out of high school and you have your own life, own responsibilities and stuff, it's like all that stuff doesn't matter because you're just focused on yourself. And then once you have that assurance and confidence in yourself, it's like it doesn't matter what anyone else says because you know what you believe in, and that's all that matters.
Oh yeah, for sure. And I completely agree with you. Yeah. And like also like being in high school, I've noticed like there's so much people that's just so sad in high school. It's just like, wow, and of course we're human, but like from social media and stuff and seeing social media, like being depressed and being sad is normal now. And I know like it's normal for a human to experience, but it shouldn't be something that someone should accept. Like, I'm going to be depressed for the rest of my life. We should not, in my opinion, I don't think that we should be accepting that and trying to just go with the flow of just being in this hard time. Like, try to get yourself out of that time, and stuff like that. Like, go work on yourself, you know what I'm saying? Just do some things that can bring you happiness, you know what I'm saying? So.
No, I agree with you. Like, I definitely do feel like, I don't want to say it's normalized or it's like a stigma or anything like that, but I mean, it's okay to have bad days. Like, I have bad days, I have off days, but it's important that you don't get, stuck, because I've been stuck, and it's not a good feeling to be stuck. And it's like I say, my relationship with God and relying and depending on Him, that's what helped me get out of those dark, storms. And I mean, that's one piece of advice I would give to people, is to just, really depend on the Lord, because if other people can't get you out of that dark, head place, then God will, because He says He will never leave you nor forsake you. And even if you distance yourself from Him, He's not distancing Himself from you. All you have to do is just call His name, and He'll be right there to listen to you and give you that peace to get out of that headspace.
Yeah. And also, like, just to add on to that, in my opinion, well, not in my opinion, but like lots of times I've tried to seek happiness or that love from someone else, like a girl or something like that, and it's just like, it's not, I mean, it can be so great, but then later on, it's just like, you're just like, they break your heart, or they do something that's like kind of off with stuff, or you do something, or you do something to them. And something I've learned is just like, don't put your happiness into someone else's hands and then expect them to maintain it. You know what I'm saying? Like, right. Because when you do that, then it's like the only person that's always going to give you that perfect love is God. Don't expect perfect love and acceptance from someone else or from humans, because humans can't perform that perfect love that God can.
Yeah, you got to make yourself happy. And it's like, I've heard that so many times, and it sounds so cliche and everything, and I never understood it, but now I get it now. Like, I gotta make myself happy, get myself right, so once I get into a relationship, I don't need to depend on her to make me happy. I'm just happy with my individual life and what I do on the side, and we just balance each other out in a way.
Exactly. Yeah.
Yep.
See that.
And my final question to you, before I go ahead and let you go, is, right. I thought you were older, but you're much younger, so it's kind of hard to give advice to your former self because you're still kind of, going through it. So if you could give a piece of advice to yourself from April of 2020, what would you say to that young Daniel?
I would say that don't care what other people think, and do what you want to do. Like post what you want to post. And don't try to do things for people's acceptance, especially if it's going to affect you in a negative way. That's what I would say.
Yeah, I feel you, man, like 100%. But I want to thank you. Oh, go ahead.
Yeah, so,
what was you saying? I'm sorry, my fault. I cut you off. My bad.
Oh, bro, I was asking you, what would you say to your former self?
I would say stay encouraged and, stay the course and keep going. Obviously, when the pandemic was going on, I was still doing my 5 classes, and I thought that this thing would end and I would get my coronation and everything would kind of go back to normal. But obviously that wasn't the case. So I would just tell him, stay the course and rely on God and not seek other people for that validation. Just seek the Lord, and, he'll give you that peace and fulfillment, and you will, achieve your dreams as time goes on. So, I'd say that, just stay the course.
Of course, yeah. But this is pretty good. Like, this is super dope of what you got, like, really dope questions. I really like the questions, and it's amazing, I know that this is going to go far, because you seem very, very creative with the questions, and, I can see this being huge.
Yeah, thank you, man. I appreciate that. And I'd love to do this again 2, 3, 4 years from now when you're like 18, 19 years old, because obviously you're going to grow and you're going to change from then. But, I think you have a really great mind, especially being 15 and having that wisdom, knowing what, God wants, knowing that you can't put your validation to anybody else. Like, I think that's great that you have that knowledge, especially at your age. And I know that you're going to go far and you're going to do big things, especially with the content that you put out. So I just say, keep going.
You too, and you too, you're 20 years old. People 20 years old, like, they're just like, they want to, people 20 years old don't even want to think about God anymore, so it's just like, whenever you're 20 years old, like, just doing that, and trying to follow the Lord, like, that's really going to benefit you.
Yeah, thank you, man. I hope it benefits us both. And once we link up together a few years from now, we're definitely going to do a reunion episode, and it's going to be, I know it's going to be big, especially with where our minds are at now. Just imagine where it's going to be at 2 to 3 years from now.
I know, exactly. I'm going to be having to go to like a studio or something like that.
Oh man.
So, like, yeah, Daniel, I'm going to have to fly you out, to come to the studio so we can do this podcast. I was like, okay, sure, man.
Yeah. YouTube's my goal. I'm trying to make it on YouTube. That's my goal, put a face to my voice for once.
Yeah, cool. Yeah. Hey, look, and I wish you the best on this, I just feel like that this is going to be big, and this is a way that you can spread your testimony, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah, absolutely. Thank you, man, and we'll definitely keep in touch.
All right, man. I'll catch you later. I'll see you.
Yep. All right, this wraps up the podcast. Stay blessed and stay encouraged.